run that shit up.
Everybody, welcome back to the Cincy Stripes podcast. Coming right back after the Jake Browning game. Super exciting game. Watching Jake Browning ball like that was definitely a lot of fun. 32 for 37, 354 yards, and 1 touchdown against a, not great defense, but definitely a good defense for sure. And it was just an exciting game to watch, especially, on Monday night, get our first road win on Monday night since 1990. That's a stat.
I just want to apologize to Jake Browning for not being a believer. Obviously, it is one game, and it could be one game. But to do that, and he was a AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think there's a difference between, not playing bad and then winning the game for us the way he did. Only 5 incompletions, no turnovers, obviously the touchdown, and then 1 on the ground as well. That's a Burrow-esque performance. You really didn't see any drop off there in the quarterback play, and that's, like you said, it could be one game, but it was a hell of a game.
Definitely was, and I gotta say, in my opinion, I think that was Zach's best play calling game. Outside the first quarter, of course, but those were scripted plays that I don't think were designed all that well. Yeah. But after that, Zach was almost perfect. Besides
the trick plays,
the trick plays, I would say, is more on execution than it is on play calling. If you really look at that trick play, if Boyd was able to loft it over Allen, Mixon has 4 blockers in front of him with maybe 3 defenders. He has room. He's going to get yards, probably the first down. So it's really just more an execution on that. Boyd's definitely not a quarterback. So
Yeah,
that's not even talked about if he gets that to Mixon there. It's just saying, you're kind of getting angry.
Yeah, just because it was I don't like where it was called on the field.
Yeah.
Our side of the field.
Yeah, you're on your own side of the field. I would prefer if we ran it midfield or in their territory.
Yeah, for sure.
But, what are you going to do?
It's that one, the Jamar, or was that the same play? That was the same play, wasn't it? I thought was it just the one trick play?
No, we had 2 trick plays. Earlier in the game, we had Jamar throw
That's what
to
I thought.
Jake Browning, but I think Jake Browning was supposed to be back, and it's supposed to be a double pass.
That's kind of what it looked like. Or, maybe Jamar just tried to make something happen there. But I don't think he
throws that
unless there's a play.
I was like, have we ever seen Jamar throw? I can't remember Jamar ever throwing.
I don't think he has. I don't think he has.
But
speaking of Jamar, man went off. He had 11 for 149. The big bomb touchdown. He was getting singled out one-on-one. Yeah. Jake ain't scared to throw it to him.
Play that man one-on-one.
Yeah.
They were like, it's Jake Browning in. We ain't got to worry about maybe Jamar going deep or something.
That was a dot. Made Cisco do a cartwheel.
No, that was Cisco was the safety coming that he taunted in front of. Williams or something, I think.
Yeah, made him look like doing a cartwheel.
Browning could have put the ball a little better. I think it was reachable for the defender, but
it was a little too short.
A little too short, but we'll live with it. It's definitely a great play. I don't like the nitpick, but
he's 5th in the NFL in receiving yards now.
Yeah,
Jamar.
Behind
3 straight 1K
there's
seasons.
AJ Brown at 4.
He's 100 yards behind number 4.
CD, yeah. So those are great receivers right there, and Keenan being the only target for the Chargers, and Tyreek Hill just having an MVP type season.
Yeah, absolutely.
This game reminds me of the Brandon Allen game against Houston.
No, that Houston team was way worse.
The Houston team was way worse.
I think they had 4 wins that year.
It's kind of the same thing. They come in, backup quarterback, they ball. Allen couldn't keep it up.
10-point dogs. Yep, we were 10-point dogs.
Yeah, I really hope Jake Browning can keep it up and you playing good if Burrow ever goes down. That way, if Burrow does go down again, you're not worried.
It's time for our Nick Foles run.
Our Nick Foles run.
We pretty much have to win out almost.
I know I said I would like it if we just lost more games to get better picks. So I was excited to see us win this game.
It was really exciting.
Especially the way Jake Browning played.
Another exciting part of the game was Chase Brown. I think he can be
a
1-2 punch, man.
I really think he can be. He was being patient, finding holes, reading the offensive line. Reading
I don't know why we didn't do this sooner in
Well,
the
I
year.
was gonna
It's
say,
like,
what was the
why do they wait so
thing
long
behind it? Why they
Well, I
wait?
mean, he was out for 4 weeks
injury?
for an injury, so we
But-
can't forget about that. But after that and before that, no idea.
Maybe they just trying to give Travion more of a shot, and he just really hasn't done anything. I'm not sure.
Well, we don't really.
I mean,
know.
we still saw him
Travion
a couple.
has I think was it 12 rushes this entire season.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last.
I mean, Chase Brown got 9 in just this game.
Yeah.
It's really better late than never.
Yeah,
I'd rather him get started late than.
it's
never
especially
see
the
it.
time where you want to test out some things.
Well, I think it was also because a lot of it was early on, so they were probably like, "All right, we're gonna see what our young guys got," because they weren't expecting Jake Browning to look. I mean, obviously they were because they say that stuff. They're like, "We believe, we know what Jake Browning can do," but it's like they went into Jacksonville. They were 8-3. They're looking for a win. They're like, "Let's see what Chase Brown could do early." And then as we were like in that game, it's like they started to mix a little bit of him and mixing in.
Yeah, I think also too. I know Browning was saying in the press conference before the Steelers game, I don't want the offense dumbed down. I don't want it watered down. But it almost kind of looked like they were just doing like the first or second read. It wasn't as much as like changing at the line of scrimmage, obviously. They had a lot of people in the backfield too. Did we run any empty sets? It wasn't a lot.
I don't remember.
Like,
Maybe
And it
4 or 5
And
times.
it
I don't
seemed like
remember.
we had a receiver tight end in the C gap too a lot.
Yeah.
Which gave him a lot of time. I mean, yeah, he made a lot of great throws under pressure too, but when you give him that
My
time
fa-
to read progressions, I mean,
My favorite throw that he made was where he had a free rusher coming right
Yep.
at him. He stopped, flipped it in between.
yeah,
that was-
Wilcox.
That might have been a sample. Or
I like using samples.
those two tight ends, so I can
Yeah.
say. Well, that was a great play. Can we talk about how Tanner Hudson looks like a twin of Tyler Eifert
Yeah, Jordan, the
like
whole
in the
time he's like,
face.
"Dude, that's Eifert."
in the face? Not like, receiving wise, but if you just look at the face, you're like he flips the helmet.
Yeah,
up,
because he
you're
only had
"Dude,
like the
that's-
helmet, so it was like
Looks
from
an
the
awfully lot like Tyler
Tyler
Eifert.
Now Eifert hasn't been.
I
Yeah.
had to pull him up. It's there, but
Definitely, I'll have to look up a picture of Tanner Hudson right here.
yeah, I had to.
Yeah, that that definitely looks like Tyler Eifert.
The O line played pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of holes in the run game too.
Yeah, which I'm happy to see them doing it. Volson looked a lot better. I think Jacksonville's D line's not that bad.
I mean, Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen. I mean, he had some good guys. There's some.
A number one pick, obviously he hasn't performed well. Tavon Walker or Trayvon, what is it? Trayvon Walker.
There's some other. I don't know why Orlando Brown isn't doing crazy in the run game. I mean, he's
so big.
he's a big, powerful guy. He should just
Yeah.
be blowing these people up, but he's just not.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with that, but thing is, he's a left tackle. He's protecting any quarterback we put back there.
Yep.
That's exactly what we need. Jonah, not the best game, but not the worst. I'm not too upset to see how we did.
How many sacks we let up?
I know one was like a free rusher.
Yeah, that one was though Josh Allen. Like no one even touched him. Orlando slid in and no one even touched
I don't
Josh
know.
Allen.
Was it the second straight
We had
week?
2 sacks allowed, and both were to Josh Allen.
It's like the second straight week there's been some guy not blocked.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just
I don't-
miscommunication.
That's what I'm thinking it is. You got to clean that up though.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe Browning's like seeing something different, and he wasn't pointing out and seeing that Allen was coming. I don't know how, but
You got to think with Browning though, he's played a lot of football. So I mean, I think as the season goes on too, he's just going to get better.
Browning had 96 total touchdowns his senior year of high school, which is a California record.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like I don't know if he'll go 32 for 37 again, but I don't think there's going to be that big of a drop.
I love to see it.
He has.
does.
I like what I see from him press conference wise and on the field. He has the confidence and poise of Burrow.
I mean, if you-
he's got that on lock.
Say if you obviously saw it between each play, even the big plays, he was just calm. Like he didn't get overly excited, and he didn't
If-
get overly down. Like
Like with that game, if you pull someone in that has watched zero football, probably like ever in their life, and you have them watch that game, they'd say, yeah, Jake Browning's probably like elite just from that one game.
100%. I mean that 21-yard scramble.
But like the things that make great quarterbacks great is consistency,
100%.
and that's the only thing that makes great quarterbacks great. You can have all the talent in the world, but you have to be great consistently.
Yeah, it's stringing those games back to back to back. I mean, especially on a team like this, kind of bringing it back to the Brandon Allen thing, he didn't have these skill guys.
Yeah, no.
I mean, when you
He had T. That was it.
when you have like I would say this complete of an offensive roster, it helps you. I mean, having Jamar Chase obviously helps you. Having T. Higgins back is huge. I would love to. We all have faith in him. It's gonna be exciting to see. I mean, we play a lot of teams that are kind of in the hunt too, but also are banged up at quarterback. It's gonna be a fun last 5 weeks.
Yeah, we play Colts, Steelers, and Browns all have backups in right now.
Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings.
I mean, 8 players got a
Chiefs
reception
don't,
last game.
And that's all 5 games.
Having T. Higgins back was really nice because I was able to single up Jamar a little bit. Higgins only had 3 receptions for 36 yards, but he is coming back off
one of them was the big third down.
Oh, we play the Chiefs too.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I have a lot of confidence in Zach, too, for the rest of the season, just watching that game. If we can just stay consistent with those play calls and execution, I think we can really make a run.
Yeah. I mean, we just got to limit the big plays on defense.
Yeah, defense is what I'm most worried about moving forward. It was Jake Browning initially, but, I mean, C.J. Beathard kind of tore us up at the end of the game.
We allow, I mean, it's not great, but 23 points a game isn't like, oh, my God. It's middle of the pack. But the yardage is what's crazy to me. We let up almost 400 yards a game.
I mean, there have been don't break defense normally, but it'd be nice to not bend.
I don't really care. I don't really care about the yards. It's like usually, we keep them out of the end zone, but it just seems like we're just not able to do that this year.
But we haven't got a turnover in the last 2 games either.
No, we don't have no juice.
Well, we got a turnover against Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
But
the fumble.
yeah, but outside of that, we didn't even come. Our closest we came to a turnover in the Jaguars game was Dax Hill's touchdown that he let up.
That's just bad luck, man.
That's really bad luck because there's P.J. Washington or Parker Parker Washington, yeah, getting a touchdown like that off of a tip.
I mean,
so.
that's a
the one DJ Turner should have jumped on the fumble.
Yeah, that too.
DJ Turner should have jumped on it. He was trying to scoop it up and run, and then that guy recovered it.
Yeah.
That Washington.
You definitely got an earful.
Oh, yeah. You already know that Lou was like, dive on the ball. He's just trying to make a play. But.
DJ Turner led our team in tackles, which is kind of a surprise. And
he ain't scared to hit him in battle. I love watching
him lighting up
Ridley
was one of my favorite plays of the game.
Watching him come up and just light him up.
He even says, I love that part of football. Like, just lowering the shoulder.
Yeah.
Another player that played great was Jordan Battle.
Yeah,
well, he plays game.
I think that's gonna be on repeat until he's retired.
Yeah, I think he's an All-Pro in a year or two.
Such a steal.
There's a reason you play as a freshman.
Very secure tackler. I mean,
The biggest thing you look for in like safeties like that is really just their football IQ, and he's got football on lock.
As long as you can tackle.
Always
Nick Scott doesn't tackle.
In the right place at the right time. I mean, he had an insane pass deflection. He had a sack, and he just doesn't miss tackles. I mean, you can't ask for more.
I think he's missed 0 all year.
Yeah, we saw another really rare sighting. That was a Joseph Osai sack.
Yeah.
I watched that sack, and it was kind of a.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
It was like a 2-yard loss.
No, it was a no game.
I don't even remember.
CJ
I remember
Beathard
seeing him
was
on the
running.
field, but
he was rushing up the middle.
Side, baby.
So I mean, those are. I mean, technically, they could stat correct it into not being a sack because he did tuck the ball. We had what?
4 as a team.
Yeah.
I mean, Battle had 1, but
my biggest issue with like that is Miles Murphy getting 12 snaps, which is. I don't understand why after his performance the last couple games.
Well, they were throwing a lot. You'd think you'd want to rotate him in. Like,
yeah, you got to keep Hendrickson fresh. You got to keep Hubbard fresh.
Coming off an injury still. Like, didn't really make sense to me.
Put in Osai, put in
Sample played a good amount of 3-tech that game.
Love to see it.
That's
what I've been waiting for.
We did stop the run pretty well. ETN didn't really do much, as we know.
But they didn't even run the ball that much either.
Yeah, that's true.
Which was kind of a shock.
Well, I mean, they were dicing us up in the past game.
Yeah. I mean, first play is a 26-yard catch to Christian Kirk, and he goes out after that. So there's no telling what our defense would have looked like with him in. And then Trevor Lawrence goes out later in the game, So I mean, we caught a couple breaks.
Glad to see that he's not really badly injured. Just a
Yeah,
high ankle sprain.
Yeah, that's really good. Because I like Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
mean,
good
you
guy.
never want to see a franchise guy like that get hurt.
So it's just crazy, the whole state of Florida, they're going to get one golf cart for him to ride
Honestly,
in.
how are you gonna make that man walk to the locker room?
Did you guys not see his press conference today?
No.
He said we have carts. He's like, I refused it.
Yeah, I was about to say he
He
probably
said he
refused it.
But he said that
Trying
was
to
dumb.
show the
He said
fans.
it was dumb on my part. He said, yes, we do have carts.
He's like just trying to show to
Yeah.
the fans
I mean,
that
I don't think he needs to show how tough
Just
he
write
is.
it I know,
I think
just
he's
write
tough,
it
but it's
out.
like, hey, man, just
write it
There's
out.
no
like-
reason.
make it easy.
yeah, we're 8-3 right now. Like
Like, I understand, like,
They're
Mac
8-4 now,
Jones had, like, the same injury. He overreacted on that one.
yeah,
But, like, they were going downstairs, so someone had to carry him.
yeah.
But come on, take the cart.
With the way
Take
Trevor reacted, I was worried about him.
Yeah,
just
same.
because he looked really
Oh,
upset.
he tried to get up.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And then he threw
Trey
his
helped him
helmet.
up, and then after he like fell down and like went back to his
If you've
knee.
ever sprained your ankle, though, it
I have.
like,
It sucks.
It feels like it feels
Yeah.
like you just broke your leg. I mean,
I sprained my ankle a couple times. It
you
sucks.
can't put any weight on it, like, and you really don't know the extent right away. I mean, he probably thought, well, I probably just broke my foot, and that being for that game where they would have been the 1 seed, and now kind of like that division's now wide open if he
Yeah,
misses a couple
Texans and
weeks.
Colts.
So-
Hopefully the Colts don't win, but if
Lot
they
of-
win, they're right there in the mix too.
Oh, the Colts.
Minshew mania.
And the Colts were, we work with a Colts fan, and he was thanking me. He's like, thank you guys for beating the Jaguars. Well, now hopefully
You know,
Jaguars are thanking us this week for
Yes,
beating the
sir.
Colts.
Gotta stop that 4-game win streak.
Yeah. Which, I mean, this game's going to be backup versus, quote-unquote backup. And I put
Yeah.
that on here with the
For
quotations for Minshew because he's not a normal backup. He's probably the best backup in the league.
I would
Yeah.
say he's like the journeyman starter every year who kind of just goes to a team that needs a quarterback for that year.
Yeah, he's definitely good enough to be a starter. Like, if there's a 33rd team, I think he would be my 33rd quarterback.
It's like him, Teddy, Bridgewater was like the hot like backups that go around like they get signed quick.
He would start on multiple teams right now. If he was on the Browns, he'd start. I mean,
Steelers.
Andy
Steelers, he'd
Dalton,
start.
like those three, seem like the main veteran, like ones that get signed that kind of quick, like because they're mostly always on 1-year deals and they're journeymen.
And
So.
Jets could use
he's an
Gardner
energizer,
Minshew
too.
so bad right now.
The shimmy. I mean, he brings life to that team. Like, I mean, they lost Richardson. Everybody kind of probably thought, well, dang, Jonathan Taylor was in and out.
And Zach Moss, they just everybody's been stepping up for him this year.
And their front four is what really keeps them alive on defense. So their front
Yeah.
four, they don't
They're
send,
nasty.
they barely send pressure.
And it's crazy when they're like just cutting Darius Leonard because Zaire Franklin or whoever replaced him like is good enough to
Yeah.
take a spot like that. Darius Leonard was a dog.
All pro.
Well, a dog that wasn't really much of a leader.
and
That,
expensive.
Yeah,
that was
that's
kind of their problem. He wasn't really a
That's
leader,
true.
not a locker room guy, and didn't really fit there anymore. So I understand it, why they did it, get their culture a little bit better.
Yeah.
Not saying anything bad about, Jack Leonard, just basis
Yeah.
overall for that team.
Yeah, and the kind of direction they're going to is, they're not trying to pay a premium for that position right now when
Yeah.
they have a young guy.
Yeah.
Obviously they're in I'm not going to say a rebuild because they're 7-5, but they're in more of like a rookie contract era.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously with, Richardson going down, it kind of hurt him, but Minshew stepped up, man. He's a guy that you don't want to face in the later part of the season because he's giving it his all every play.
Like, looking at, the Colts, I mean, what I think they do in the draft is probably go receiver
Yeah.
early within the first 2-3 rounds, just because I feel like Richardson needs that receiver.
They need a speedy guy. I mean, Downs is fast, but
But Michael Pittman, I don't.
They do.
I'm not that
Whenever
big
I
on
watch them,
Michael
they run
Pittman.
weird routes for Pittman. They do just a lot of screens and help he makes plays down the field because a lot of his touchdowns are big screen touchdowns, him getting down the field.
he's having a good year.
Yeah, he's got 889 yards,
having
4
a good year.
touchdowns. But
They need another guy with him because Pierce is good. I just don't.
I
he's
like
not-
Pierce,
he's not-
but
I don't-
obviously
I
he's
don't know
not
if
a-
he's a number 2 in a contending team. No disrespect. I mean, he played at UC obviously, but
And they do have Isaiah McKenzie, who did do well with
Buffalo. Yeah.
which he hasn't really done much since.
yeah, I mean, no Jonathan Taylor is huge for us.
Yeah, looking at their tight end, I don't even know who Kylan Granson is, to be honest with you.
I think he's a rookie.
Molly Cox is their third string tight end, and I remember that guy used to be like a dog.
Yeah, but he's been there a while.
One of their tackles is questionable, Braden Smith.
Yeah,
And one of their guys, one of their defensive ends just got suspended.
Who?
Uh,
Was that the PEDs?
yeah.
Colts are 5-1 on the road. Coming into Cincinnati. You guys will be there, obviously.
Al-Qadim Muhammad.
Does Colts run a lot of man?
I'm not too sure what their defense does. I know Jake Browning said what their defense earlier.
It's
How they
base 4-3.
Yeah. It's right here on ESPN. It's literally right in front of my eyes.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, I mean, just because Kenny Moore is obviously good, but I'm not very scared of their safeties. I think we could take some deep shots on them.
I think a big part of
they limit explosive plays, though. That's their thing. Is just they limit that.
Which Bengals don't.
Yeah,
Which they
our
would.
defense, like we stand a chance if our defense steps up. If our defense just plays how they should, we will be in this game.
I mean, honestly, I think if we can get the run game going early, that's the key. Is like we do try. I think going back to like all season, we do kind of try to get the run game going. It's just more of a fact is if it's working early, we stick to it. But if it doesn't work early, we just kind of throw it out the window. Chase Brown had a couple big carries early. Mixon was kind of finding his groove early. We were able to kind of sustain that with long drives and the screen kind of build off that. I think that's kind of the key, in my opinion, just like the balanced attack. If we can get the run game
what was the stat that I sent in the chat? It was like each time we've had over 30 carries or something, we're 3-0.
Which we had 31, 28, 30. We had 31 designed runs. We had 32 total runs.
Just Browning,
but one of them was a scramble with Jake Browning, and another one was with Tyler Boyd. So we had 28 designed running back runs, which is good enough.
Great,
Yeah.
Which we need to do more of. Like going back to Pittsburgh, I mean, how many rushes did Joe Mixon have? 8?
8, yeah.
That can't happen. I mean, we only scored 10 points that game also.
I think
Then again, but Steelers were really playing the run. So it's just, you got to go game by game.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, again, it's like I don't know how – I can't really give you like a prediction for this game because there was no way in hell I was going to give you a 34-31 win against Jacksonville.
I mean, Jake Browning played out of his mind. I mean, I think if he can – I hate saying this. If he can just give us 80% of what he did –
it's good enough.
We're going to have a fighting chance in every single game. I mean, the dude, obviously, he won AFC Player of the Week for a reason. He led the league in passing yards, right, this week?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely
That's wild.
It's definitely going to come down to our defense.
And then,
Didn't he break a Bengals record too, or not break it, but he's like third or like top 5 for passer. They said it in like the
I think
locker
he's like
room
the third
video.
quarterback to have like 80%.
He was like
of
86
completion percentage with his amount of throws and yardage as a Bengal.
Like that's wild.
It is wild.
Second career start.
Yeah, I didn't have that in my
Bingo
in my
board.
head.
Card.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe Joe Burrow got Wally pipped. I don't. It's fun. It's fun to come up with hypotheticals like that, just because they're so unrealistic. That's why it's just kind of. It's not fun, but funny.
Yeah.
Like is
You
Joe
gotta make light of
Joe Burrow Drew Bledsoe? I mean, signs a record-breaking deal, then gets hurt and gets replaced by Tom Brady.
I mean, would that start the dynasty? Like, if that, would you give up? Would you like let that happen and like get rid of Burrow like they kind of did and let Browning like if we get those like
I need to talk
5, 6
to
rings,
a
5 rings,
40-year-old or older Patriots fan and get their opinion on that, because they were,
Yeah, on what their thoughts were.
They had to love Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah.
I mean, they signed him to a record-breaking deal in '99, or not record. I mean, it was record-breaking for money, but not years, I think. But
I mean, kind of. I know I said it earlier, but the Nick Foles situation, though. I mean, he won them a Super Bowl, and then like all the fans were like, still kind of on Carson Wentz, but then it's like in his own head, it's like, well, I didn't win. You know, what I mean, it's
really
got
what-
to be a mental thing.
yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before on this podcast about how that's really when Carson Wentz really fell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just because it was like that would, for me also, like if my backup came in and won a Super Bowl, I'd be like, well,
Am I as good as him?
Yeah, no,
It's
I
like-
mean, no matter how much better you are, I mean, they're NFL guys, so they're obviously great. I mean,
yeah.
Browning's a rookie. This is obviously way down the line, but it's got to be a mental thing. I mean, you're like, well, was it me? You know?
Then again, there's only a few quarterbacks in the league with the mindset of Burrow, so I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would really affect him much. I think the Bengals would still stick with him.
Same with Drew Bledsoe. I don't think it affected Drew Bledsoe at all.
Yeah, because he went on to have a decent. I mean,
He went on to be decent with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So, so it depends on how you look at things. And obviously, I don't think Jake Browning's the next coming of Tom Brady, of course.
You got to love hypotheticals, though.
But it's fun to bring up hypotheticals, and it's just funny to laugh at just because of the.
You got to make light of it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're
after a performance like that,
100%.
it's like you gotta what is it, overreaction Monday.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. But I mean, we stand a chance if our defense comes alive. Obviously with no Cam Taylor-Britt. And
Sucks.
And Zach Moss is a fast running back, so really just try to limit him on the outside runs, which I think Hubbard can do.
He had a big Pratt fumble. He's been due.
Yeah, he's been stripped. He's been trying to strip it.
He's overdue.
Yeah.
He needs one now.
I mean, last couple of seasons it seems like he's gotten one in the biggest games. So each game from now on is huge, and we play playoff teams.
The rest of the way out.
Yeah. So
Like as of right now,
we control our own
the rest of the way
destiny.
out.
I mean, it's
And
wild to say
Minshew's
that, but
keen to a couple turnover-worthy throws. So.
Yeah, he got 10 touchdowns, 7 picks. So
yeah, they are definitely a defensive, I would say, not minded team, but right now it's kind of like their defense has been playing a lot better.
it's probably like run heavy and then rely on the defense. Maybe not run heavy, but
the Texans just kind of did, or Titans did kind of just run it up on them a little bit there, but
then the Colts won that, didn't they?
yeah, in overtime.
No.
I mean, I think we stand it. I think it's going to be a well-even matchup, especially just with
spreads. Literally pretty much pick them.
And I do think, well, technically, if you really look at it, we're 5-point underdogs, not 2.5-point underdogs.
You get
Home
3.
team gets 3, yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that earlier when I saw it. I'm like, well, they're technically already counting us as 5-point underdogs.
I think when it first opened up, like when they were first making the odds, we were 5-point dogs.
So we were 8 starting off, or
Could be wrong, but I thought that's what I saw.
Probably before Monday.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know
Because
when.
the lines were probably already kind of like out, but the spreads, they don't have player props. But
obviously that doesn't mean anything.
no, and it really it's just Browning's. I think he's right now, like in his press conference, he said, he's not going to let that affect his ability to work hard, and he doesn't want to be like a one-game wonder.
Yeah, short-term memory for the good and the bad.
Yeah, and I think his confidence is pretty high every week because I think he's pretty. He said, I've won everywhere I've went. So I think he's really confident in the ability, like, to carry this team.
he's just a hard worker. I don't know if you guys saw Ryan Leaf's thing about Mina Kimes. Mina Kimes went on was saying like Jake Browning was like crap and stuff, and like Ryan Leaf went off on her this morning on like ESPN.
The biggest bust in the NFL, going off on.
Yeah, he's a big Jake Browning guy apparently.
Those who can't do, teach. So
You were saying how you're hoping that this Browning thing isn't a one-hit wonder. I looked up 2020 Allen. He had 371 yards in that Texans game. The next game against Baltimore, he had 48. 21 of those yards went to Sethan Carter.
was that the 33-3 game?
38-3.
38-3. Yeah, that's the game I turned off in the first quarter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Because that year I was so depressed after Burrow hurt his knee.
I was, and then when Pittsburgh came in,
Finley.
undefeated, Ryan Finley. Finley only had 89 passing yards that game.
That was such a fun game.
That was.
It was a defensive game though.
Von
I
Bell,
love that game.
the Von Bell rocking of
Yeah.
Juju.
The TikTok memes.
Yep, that's where he stopped
Where
dancing
that-
on
where
it.
So after that Houston game, I'm like, Brandon Allen could be the backup here for a while.
I mean, he
48
kind of
yards.
was until the last year.
He
Not a
was.
while, but
I thought,
what, 2 years?
He showed promise. Browning showed promise, and I really hope he could continue and show that he's, like I said before.
That game came against an AFC South team with a Clemson starting quarterback. And Jake Browning's game came against an AFC South team with a Clemson starting quarterback.
That is facts.
So it's just funny to look at it like
There it
that.
is.
That's a fun one to think about. Who do we play next? Colts.
Yep.
AFC South team.
I don't know
Where'd
where
Minshew
Minshew
go?
go. I don't know where
Minshew
Minshew
went
went.
to-
It's the rematch of the Apple Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Washington State. I was going to bring that up earlier when you said it was a.
Minshew went to another. He went to 2 different schools, didn't
He
he?
did, but I think he ended it at Washington.
Northwest
Yeah,
Mississippi.
but He probably went to another one after that. I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, when you brought up, backup versus backup, I'm like,
So he played at Northwest Mississippi Community College, and he won an NJCAA championship there. And then he played at East Carolina, and then he played at Washington State.
East Carolina's where
He
really
set the
learned his name.
Pac-12 conference season record for passing yards and
last time those
completions.
two played, Browning walked away victorious. So,
Ooh, hopefully it's the same.
Minshew's one of those guys that you root for.
no, I love him.
Like, you absolutely got to root for that guy. I mean, not this week, obviously, but
Yeah, not this week, but any other week, I'm like, come on, we got to see some Minshew magic out there.
Hear that radio in the background. It's kind of scared me a little bit. Going on to like the week 13,
Recap.
recap.
week 13 recap. I hate the Chiefs
It cost me and
So
Jordan
much.
$600 each.
so much. Well, they cost me 800 because I had another parlay.
No, we
That
had
would've-
and we had the ladder. I had the ladder.
I didn't have the ladder, but my other parlay where it was like 11 legs. Or
So it was
something
gonna
like
be
that.
840 for me to win
I would have
total.
I would have won 834.
Because that was when I put 120 on, and I was like, because I was very confident in the Chiefs. Nope.
I mean,
I had the
So
Chiefs.
was
I had the Chiefs
but-
plus 3.5, and it still didn't hit.
it's a team that you think's probably going to figure it out, but each week
It's getting,
like,
it's getting
each
closer.
week it's like, ugh. I mean,
I
this
think-
is the
I think it's
Chiefs.
been said too many times about them this year. They've had some really bad games, and you're like, well, they're about to figure it out. They're about to go on a run.
Well, and then you're always like, well, Mahomes is about to have that drive, but I mean, he's kind of thrown some late picks.
Oh, that was such an ugly pick. Once he threw that
It was
one,
bad.
me and Jordan were like, bro.
I
Well,
think
he's not getting any help from his receivers.
the
though.
Chiefs are currently like in the taking advantage of Patrick Mahomes era because they just refuse to get skill guys around them. I mean, like you get Kadarius Toney, that guy's a bum. And then like MVS, that dude couldn't catch a cold in negative 32-degree weather.
I mean, there's highlight tapes of him dropping every single deep ball he has ever had.
Like, he was that bad beforehand too. Like he wasn't
Oh, yeah.
good.
Yeah, he wasn't good.
I mean, Kelsey's obviously
Rasheed
Kelce,
Rice
but
is
he's not.
coming up,
Yeah, right.
but like he's still
Right.
young.
Yeah.
I think they're able to kind of lock in on Kelsey a lot more because, I mean, really.
And next year, like I said it to someone here, I don't forget, but I think Kelsey's done after this year.
I think we talked about that.
Like I truly believe he's going to retire.
I mean, luckily for the Chiefs, it's a big free agent, wide receiver free agency.
Yeah, you mentioned before we started Mike Evans going there.
I mean, obviously as a Bengal fan, it would suck, but it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they need a dog.
Like, and at that
receiver,
point of his career, he's trying to win
Probably
more.
bring
I mean,
chasing.
yeah. I mean, he won
which
the
I
one
don't
with
blame.
Brady.
At
but
that, you get to the point in your career where you've been with the same team for
However long.
8+ years. You're like, okay, I need something. I really need to
Change
win.
of scenery. I mean, there's a lot of guys in this free agency that I could see the Chiefs going after though, because even draft wise too. But
shout out to Mike, though, 10 straight 1,000-yard
Yeah, that's
seasons.
right.
That's wild.
But oh my God, how about that Chargers Patriots game?
That
If you
was
look-
such a boring game.
If you love defense, you gotta love that
It's the
game.
most
6-0,
Belichick game.
bro.
It's the most
That's
Belichick game
wild. If you're,
I had Justin Herbert to throw one touchdown that
I
game.
couldn't imagine Burrow being in that game and we don't score a touchdown. It's just like, if you have Herbert, you're like a Chargers fan. You're like, we didn't score one touchdown. Like,
Let's
they
remember,
were on the road
we
though,
went
right?
up 22-0 on the
still.
Patriots and almost lost.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know. It's just
I don't know.
That's
When
different than
both
years, so
teams
it's just-
don't score a touchdown. Like that's just rough.
I'll probably
Not
bet
for
that.
one guy.
I will
Not
bet
for
that this
one
week.
guy.
That one guy made
That
it
bet.
out big.
I think he bet like $5, won
Didn't
$5
win
I think it was
grand.
like, it was almost 10. It was like 9.
it was like neither team has scored a touchdown.
Like
I always think
$9.90.
I think I said that to you guys. Whenever I see bets like that, I'm like, how many bets did this dude have? Because like, it's just crazy.
My mother started throwing 50 cents on
Yeah,
every
like-
game.
on everything.
Like the little
Every
props.
single prop.
Like, yeah, they're definitely not scoring a touchdown.
It's like the special features, yeah. Or that one was just regular. Like
Those
you
are
just
normal.
choose that. You can just
Yeah,
choose
they're
that
just
like the
normal.
bottom.
He made his
Are
own
they game
parlay.
specials?
yeah.
I didn't think you couldn't mind those, but
Yes, you can.
Yeah, what a crazy hit that would be.
yeah, it's never gonna happen again.
All I
so.
can think about is how
Never
much
gonna
money I just came close to this weekend, and I didn't.
They started our week off crappy. It was just
Yeah.
like, wow, what a crappy way. I mean, but then the Bengals picked us back up, so
Yeah, I hit the we hit the ladder in that game.
lucky I didn't put Jags money line.
God, dude.
That's why I said I wouldn't have been able to live with myself if I would have put the Jags in there and the Bengals did win. It's like, Just don't doubt the boys. That's why I just left them out. It was like the player props, our defense will let up a lot of yards, but
To all my sports gamblers out there, do not chase losses.
do
not chase losses. You got to stick with your game.
Exactly.
But, I mean, speaking of a gamble, Kenny Pickett almost benched
Homeless, and then he got hurt.
for Mitchell Trubisky. Then he got hurt, so
Sadly.
it doesn't really matter
I
at
mean,
the end
does
of the
it-
day.
does
But
it shock you guys?
I don't know.
I mean,
No,
they reached for him in the draft.
That's Mike Tomlin's biggest flaw is that Kenny Pickett pick. Just because he refused to take
I
a
mean,
rebuild year.
It was kind of
Yeah.
Big Ben too, because he kind of gave him false hope that he was gonna be, maybe not retiring right away, but kind of like better than what he was. So I think they kind of maybe thought they had another year with him, but then they go 8-8 or whatever they went. 8-1.
Well, that's like the Dolphins struggled for 15 plus years because they refused to move on from Dan Marino.
Yep.
You just have to plan for when we get to that spot of when Burrow's career ends. I hope we plan for the future and don't.
I get it.
You see that with the Patriots too. I mean, yeah, they did land Jimmy Garoppolo, but they got him, late in the draft, and then he turned out to be really nothing.
Yeah, I mean, thing with him though is when he did play for Brady and that suspension and all that, he balled out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, with that system and the players they had back then, now I mean, all of those skill players are gone and they haven't drafted to replace. They missed on obviously Mike Jones, but they don't have any real skill players. I mean, they brought Juju Smith-Schuster in, kind of a dud. Devontae Parker, N'Keal Harry.
No, he's not even on that team anymore.
Yeah, but I'm
I
just
don't
saying.
think.
Like,
Oh, you're
skill
saying
players
like
since
that they
they've
brought
been
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
They drafted him like 31st or
it's
32nd.
it's like, come on. I mean, at some point, your defense is only going to get you so far.
Yeah, they just have they literally have no weapons on that team. Ramondre got hurt.
And I'm not saying like what the Packers did was smart with taking Jordan Love, with Rodgers on the team for another 3
Yeah, there's
2-3
different.
years.
I mean,
But
you can see a guy out the door, and then you can see a guy who has a lot left in the tank.
yeah, and obviously right now I think it's paying off for the Packers as Jordan Love's kind of
Looking
balling
good.
these last 3
They're the
games.
ones that ruined our parlay. Jordan Love.
I'm never
balling.
betting on him against him again. Like he ruined our Thanksgiving lay.
Yeah, with the beating the
And-
Lions.
LaFleur in December, man. Don't bet against him.
We'll find out. I think Jordan. I went back and watched that Chiefs game after suffering my heartbreak of my loss, but Jordan Love really looks good. Like I think he can really be the guy in Green Bay.
I think if they're definitely in the playoff hunt. You think if they get in, they can cause a little bit. I mean, the NFC's tough.
Not this year, just because I think the top seeds, they're going to end up playing one of those top seeds, and one of the top 3 seeds, they're all.
They still lack a running back, and they still lack.
Aaron Jones has been hurt all year, though.
I mean, Christian Watson's good, but
Aaron Jones is good. Aaron Jones has just been
can't
hurt.
stay healthy.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
just
but
been
the
hurt.
best ability is availability.
Yeah,
So I mean,
absolutely.
that's kind of the problem with him.
So you think they go receiver in the draft? It'd be funny. It'd be so
It did.
funny if they went receiver. Because
I don't
never
think they
go to
do first
Rodgers.
round.
I mean,
They got Watson, Jaden Reed,
I could see like if he
Dobbs.
becomes a free agent, I could see the Packers really going after him
Yeah,
because they missed on him once. I don't think they want to miss on him again.
kind of goes back to our point earlier. There's a lot of free agent receivers, so
Yeah.
you might not have to draft one.
But like this draft, I mean, you have Adunze, you have Keon Coleman, Franklin.
Ibuka.
I mean, there's a lot of good receivers like in this draft.
Marvin Harrison.
Yeah,
But he ain't
Yeah,
gonna.
they're not going to have the pick for that. Marvin Harrison's a Bear or a Cardinal. You can already chalk it up.
Yeah.
He better start buying the gear for it. You don't even have to send him all 32 hats. You
Nope.
se-
Yeah,
you
just
send
send
him. You send him 3.
Yep.
That's it. Because that's like Caleb Williams. You send him a Bears hat, and that's it.
That's it.
Let's see
That's not what I think.
I don't know. I don't think.
You don't
I don't think
I
he's
don't
first
think the Bears
quarterback.
do.
I don't think
You
he's
don't
first
think Bears
quarterback.
do?
I think they believe in Fields.
Yeah.
It depends what if they end up changing head coach.
I
and
think
if-
they're firing Eberflus.
I know they are, but it's just
I
who
think
they bring in.
I like something on Twitter I saw. I
think they're bringing it.
Eberflus and
Bieniemy.
then Bieniemy.
Yeah.
And Bieniemy's going to go to closest to Mahomes that he possibly can, and that's Caleb Williams.
I think that's fair. If they get a new coach in there way before the draft,
They'll have to they'll trade Fields.
They're
So.
going to get his guy. Whoever
Yeah.
that coach is, they're going to let
Especially with the quarterback prospects this draft too.
that. And you're going to have two probably. At least top 10 picks. Because the Bears.
Yeah.
The Bears are not going to be better than a 10th pick. So you're guaranteed 2 top 10 picks.
Well, really, it's the Panthers pick that's keeping them in the 1 spot.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, in general, though, they're going to have 2 top 10.
Yeah, which I mean, looking at Panthers ownership, and as a Panther, if you're a Panthers fan, I'd absolutely hate my ownership for that.
Yeah.
Did they nail the Bryce Young pick? Maybe. Too early to find out. But you gave up a lot.
The farm.
You gave up a lot to get something you could have got C.J. Stroud. You know what I mean? Like, you would have been perfectly fine.
I had money on C.J. Stroud going 1. Didn't hit.
Honestly,
Also, I would have put money on the Bengals picking Michael Mayer, so that draft was kind of all over the place.
I mean,
Not
Bryce.
Murphy.
Yeah. I think Bryce was obviously the media's number 1, going to the draft at number 1.
I think he was no. I mean, it's something like they fired Frank Wright, but like, can you really be mad at Frank Wright for how the season's turning out?
No,
No,
absolutely
he
not.
didn't get the quarterback he wanted.
Well, not only that, I mean, whenever you have a rookie quarterback, I mean, I think you got to give him that year and then
But like
the next year.
But it's like Burrow his rookie year. You know what I mean? Like, he's behind a bottom 5 offensive line. Their defense isn't performing the way they were supposed to perform this year, and then his top receiver is a washed old Adam Thielen.
Well,
now Adam Thielen's still balling. Don't get me wrong. He's still getting his targets. He's still getting his receptions, but he's not a guy that you want
For the future.
for the future. So they should have, like, this year. They don't have a first-round pick to get a first-round receiver.
Well, and another thing, it's like when you draft him first, there's a reason you were you know, I mean, obviously they traded for the first, but where were they at?
If they were,
Were they 9?
I think they were top 10.
I think they were 9,
I think
yeah.
they were 9.
Either way, I mean, like, there's a reason you were in the top 10. Like, your team before Bryce Young wasn't great. You draft him, and then you really don't
think
get
it
him
was
any
10
help.
or
I mean,
11.
you try to get him help, but not the help
Because they took Darnell
very
Wright
too-
with
But
that pick, right?
I think what the Panthers should have done, they should have started Andy Dalton from the jump. Bryce Young's a quarterback that needs to sit to develop, really, I think.
You just don't see that anymore, though.
You don't, which I think is a huge knock on some teams.
Who knows what they could have done in that division with Andy, though.
You know?
Andy
Well,
looks
it's just
better
really the
than
offensive
Bryce.
line problem. And, like, Andy can work. He's a veteran guy. He knows how to work with some bad weapons at, the helm. And he's worked with some pretty bad offensive lines. So, like, he knows what to really do with the ball. And, like, the running back system, I'm not a believer in Hubbard. I'm not a believer in Miles Sanders, really. I mean, you got cut from the Eagles. Obviously, they didn't want you, and they settled for an injury-prone DeAndre Swift, who's actually balling this year with them.
Except for, like, the last 3
That line
weeks.
is insane, though.
The Eagles line?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they could have kept Miles Sanders and honestly gotten the same production.
Yeah,
As DeAndre Swift.
Swift was, I think Swift is obviously just more talent. I mean,
Yeah, more talented for
he
sure.
just has that more talent.
Prayers up to our boy Hayden Hurst, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That does. I'm not really
Familiar with it. That's why I
familiar
just
with
said,
the
yeah.
post-traumatic was it amnesia?
I think it's just getting hit in the head, probably, or
Is
is what it sounds like
is that
to
like
me.
long
But I'm not sure.
term?
I think,
For-
any brain injury.
That's why they said they don't know when he's going to come
yeah,
back.
It's a must. I mean, just until he's healthy. Could,
But like it's in amnesia, so he's obviously not remembering things. Like, is it short term
you're
or
saying,
long
like,
term?
I don't know about that, but I mean, it didn't seem like in the tweet at least, it didn't seem like it was like a forever thing.
And it's post traumatic. So like, is this from football?
I
Or-
think
From
so.
it said from my head.
Hit early in the year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another scary part of the game. Is just.
Like a lot of head, just a lot of
A lot
head
of
stuff.
injuries, man, this year, which just sucks.
But I mean, the good thing is, I mean, you look at some of these helmets they're producing. I mean,
They're getting better.
the
But
helmets are getting a lot better.
My thing is, a lot of the guys say they wear the padded helmets, for training, and they don't in the games. Like, is it for the look? I mean, I wouldn't care looking at the TV and seeing them wear the padded helmet if it meant they were safer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as the Bengals get, like, striped.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
all I care
I don't
about.
even. Yeah, if it just means like less CTE for those guys, I'm all for it.
I mean, they're trying to, fix all that, but it's.
I mean,
It's a
at the
tough
end of the
one.
day, it is football.
But like,
Like-
I did see something like that. Pad doesn't really do anything
I mean, yeah, I guess it's just another extra layer, but
because I mean, like, the helmet's already a hard piece of plastic with soft padding gel on the inside. So what is adding outside padding?
I think it just absorbs more of the hit. Like,
But like, you know this helmet right here, right?
Yeah.
The Exxon whatever.
Mhm.
Oh,
That
yeah.
one right there. Me and Eric was watching the Raiders preseason game like last year, 2 years ago. And this helmet,
It's the first year they had it out.
yeah, we watched the Raiders receiver get absolutely pieced and the helmet folded in, which saved him from a head injury.
You get that
So
metal bar there. It was-
if you can continue making helmets like this, where it's flexible and really gets into the gel on the inside of the padding, I think you're fine. Really, when it comes into place, when you get hard to hard, hard contact with hard plastic.
You get that metal bar that's supposed to go over top.
Yeah. I think that's kind of like the biggest issue is that. Obviously, I'm not, an engineer or an NFL doctor, but watching that hit really saved that guy's career, in my opinion. I mean, he got domed.
No, that helmet definitely. 'Cause you saw it bend in. I'm like, wow, I'm sorry, that helmet.
I mean, it went
just break.
pretty far in.
Damn.
It's like the lineman helmets they got. The Guardians.
Yeah, those things look cool.
They look cool, but it's like this. These guys are in the trenches. They're getting head contact every single snap.
Yeah.
Like DJ Reader has that Exxon helmet,
Yeah.
which I think that's perfect for a
He
defensive
looks good
lineman.
on him.
They are
I
sweet
feel like
looking.
either or would work. They both, I guess, soften.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and all
It's kind of crazy. You get ones like those and then like the George Kittle helmet.
Yeah, that's the Guardian.
Is
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the Guardian. Yeah, which that looks hella cool on George.
That's what I
Kittle,
said.
though.
It looks good on DJ Reader. Every time he gets a sack, I'm like, that helmet looks cool.
No, DJ Reader doesn't have the Guardian. DJ Reader has the Exxon.
Oh, the
flexible
Exxon.
one.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Oh.
the difference in them. Like one's got the butt it's huge.
Yeah, like the Nick Bosa helmet's the Guardian.
Yeah. Burrow was wearing it for a little bit.
The what?
He had the Guardian, I think, in practice.
No,
He had
Burrow
a
had the
Mahomes
new
helmet.
A6 or I forget what that
Is
fucking
it the
brand is.
Mahomes helmet?
Yeah, it's the Mahomes helmet, right?
Yeah, it's designed specifically for quarterbacks.
It was wild looking seeing him in.
Like Kenny Pickett wears it. Mahomes, Russell Wilson,
so a lot of them.
probably a few more quarterbacks. I just can't really think about it. But I think the vision part of it really is like.
Yeah.
I looked up the Guardian helmet. All that pops up is that soft gel one. So maybe we're wrong on that one. I love NFL
All the different equipment.
Yeah. Okay, so that helmet that George Kittle wears and that Eric's talking about is the Vicus 02 trench helmet.
Because it wasn't Guardian.
No, Guardian's the padded outside of the helmet. So, yeah, that helmet's pretty cool looking because it looks like eyes on top of a helmet. Looks mean and aggressive. I got to find that Patrick Mahomes helmet and see what the name is. Because, yeah, Burrow did wear it one practice.
Yeah, it just was.
Which
weird.
it's a Visus or Vicus, I don't know. 02. Just not trenches.
Do not know.
It's fun. Was it Antonio Brown a couple years ago threw a fit over his helmet?
They wouldn't let him wear his own.
Because it wasn't, safety.
This helmet's from 2008.
He would not wear it.
Yeah, let's look at him now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Guardian cap. I had to look it up myself. It's
Did you not believe me?
I believed you. I'm like, I thought it was called the Guardian.
The Guardian.
That's the stuff you were talking about. As long as the Bengals get the stripes on them, I'd be okay.
Yeah, I don't really care. It just as long as they keeps them healthy, But at the end of the day, it's football. I mean, they know what
They signed up for it.
that's why they get.
That's why I'm appreciative of Burrow because with the injuries, he's like, this is football. He's like,
part of the journey.
I'm gonna get. That's what people bring up the Andrew Luck stuff, and I'm like, I don't think he's not like Andrew Luck.
It's a mentality thing for sure. Like Andrew Luck was like, I'm done.
Yeah, I understand both parts of it. You can look at it as like a safety thing, or you can look at it as like, I'm getting paid to do what I like to do.
Well,
And Burrow runs and he likes getting hit. Burrow likes getting hit, which is like a crazy thing for a quarterback to say.
The whole time, me and Jordan, are like, get down. He gets hit, and he's just
Yeah,
like,
he just gets up.
smacking
They
his
care about sacks and all that. It's like, man, that's
It's funny because on those the big run hits, those aren't even the ones he's really getting hurt on, dude. It's like the freaking little unique plays.
Like his wrist injury came against the Ravens where Jadeveon Clowney, obviously not a dirty
No,
play.
it just
He just dove into his wrist. I mean, it happens. Hands get hit hands. Said nothing dirty with that. So, I mean, his knee, that was Michael Jordan getting pushed into, I think Giovanni Bernard tripped up Michael Jordan or something like that. So, I mean, that's just another bang-bang play that just Unfortunate.
Trevor Lawrence's ankle injury is, Little stepped on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
Did you guys watch the Chiefs game with the Packers?
Yeah.
You watched it?
Well,
Did you?
we watched like as much as we could.
Okay. Did you see the Pacheco where his knee got bent backwards?
We were like, he's done. Me and Jordan were like, he's
Yeah,
done.
no. I thought he was done for sure because he didn't get the yardage. I'm like, okay, well, that sucks. But he came back in the game, and then they showed it. They're like, look how, muscular this guy is and how you just
Yeah.
fold out of this, season-ending, knee injury, which, I mean, it kind of
You look
was.
like-
He really muscled his way out.
Yeah, we were
of,
like, he's done. For the season.
looking
or
at it,
or
you're like,
at
oh,
least
dude,
the
okay,
game.
his knee's done.
Yeah.
But no, he came back in. He was perfectly fine, running the hardest you ever see anyone run.
Check him.
Which, if my next running back, I want to be like Pacheco.
I think everybody does.
Yeah, that dude.
7th
From
round pick.
Ruckus.
That dude
Physical
runs
era.
with.
We need a Ruckus.
wild.
It's fun watching. I hate the Chiefs, but it's I love watching Pacheco play football, just because
Yeah.
he's a football guy.
What
Yeah.
a heck of a pick by them.
7th
Yeah,
round.
steal. It's Chiefs, man. We need to look into their GM. Let's take their GM. They know how to draft. Not receivers, of
You don't
course,
like
but
Duke?
Yeah,
huh?
You don't want Duke anymore?
I'm fine with Duke. I mean, it's just you
So
look
let's
at
get
some of
their
their draft
GM.
picks. I mean,
No, that's.
we can only land for sure
I just
talent
agree.
that coming in is for sure talent.
Yeah, development wise.
It's slim pickings for us. I mean, we took Trey Hill over Trey Smith.
We just-
Biggest
we
miss,
take
I
this-
think, the last 4 years by us.
I mean, I still understand why. He had that heart issue.
I mean, Trey Hill had knee issues. I mean, overweight issues. He had.
We did draft Billy Price.
That's not our fault. That is not our fault. That's the Lions' fault.
I remember going to that draft. I'm like, yeah, Frank Ragnow.
Ragnow, yep, Bengal.
And I know for a fact we were pissed.
But, you could deal with the weight issues which could help the knee issues, but the heart issue you can't.
Pretty sure we were at work together, and you're like, I was like, I want Frank Ragnow, and you're like, who's that? And then it was like, he just got taken by the Lions, and then we're like, Billy Price, and we're like, well, at the time I was like, all right, I'll believe
I had
her.
my hopes because I believed in Ohio.
No, that's what I
State
said. At
linemen.
the time, I don't know why I put my head down.
Undersized,
Yeah.
I
This
don't know.
wasn't that good.
Anytime, obviously there's dime in dozens, but whenever you take a guy that early and he's undersized, that alone sets you up. For
He
failure.
did one good thing for Cincinnati.
Got
and that
traded.
got traded for BJ Hill.
Yeah.
BJ's been looking good, by the way. We didn't really talk much about him, but he's been looking good.
I think one of my least favorite picks that I was excited for at the time, but I hate now is John Ross.
Yeah.
He was like,
I wanted
Strictly off the
So
40
fun.
time.
I wanted Reuben Foster.
Then
He's
again, we
getting,
could probably blame Marvin for his development in the NFL because he got one play
he might get a second
in that
chance.
Texans game and fumbled and then never saw the field that year again.
yeah, Marvin didn't really want him. It's like,
There's like
Yeah, send that dude on go routes.
it's what he should have done. He's like, okay, well,
Just run. Just
go
take a
deep.
safety with you. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, go deep.
spread the offense. I think that's we had prime AJ Green at the time, and
Yeah, I mean, we were definitely taking the receiver room. We still have Marvin Jones to do, or no? Did they leave?
we drafted him 14, I think.
John Ross.
No, 17. I meant. I don't know. I
John
said
Ross,
14.
Ross 17.
I don't know. I
So
said
we-
14.
Marvin Jones is probably gone.
It would have been Green and Boyd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boyd was in 16, right? The draft, 16 draft.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Memories.
Did we take Joe Mixon second
Second
round of the
Yeah.
John Ross draft?
I thought we drafted him
Okay.
18, or was he 17?
We took Mixon 17.
Remember
Then-
before I was telling my grandpa, like, oh, they're going to get Joe Mixon. I love
I was
that
excited
looked
for the-
so good.
I was excited for the Joe
Does-
Mixon pick because I knew he was the best running back in the draft.
Doesn't he? Didn't your grandpa hate him?
Oh, he still
Because
does.
obviously what
Yeah,
he did and
still
shit.
hates him, but- I'm like,
Which I get it, but it's like it's been a while.
I mean, yeah, I
He
mean,
did
I
that-
mean,
he did that
time
as
doesn't
Fred.
heal everything.
No,
but
yeah.
the
You see-
situation
yeah.
was a little different than people see it. I mean, they see it as Joe Mixon assaulting a woman, but I mean,
look
Yeah.
at the big picture. I mean, obviously we don't condone that, but
yeah.
yeah. Turn me up.
Turn me up.
And we still recording? Okay, I don't know why that came through on my iPad then. Weird.
No, that was something.
Yeah, a lot of big games this week though. AFC matchup wise, playoff
Yep.
wise. I looked it up. Obviously, I knew it was close, but seeds 5 through 11 are only separated by one game.
Mm-hmm.
We're that 11 seed.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows you that it's wide. I mean,
We beat
literally
the
wide.
Colts are the 6th seed right now, or 7th seed in the playoffs right now. So I mean, we win, we're probably in the picture. We're probably more up like 6 because we've lost like everybody but the Bills and the Jags now in the
I mean,
AFC.
It helps that we play a lot of AFC teams left, though.
Yeah, the ones that are like fringe too,
Yeah,
like Jags, Colts,
Bills could be
Steelers, Browns.
Bills could be kind of eliminated this week if they lose. Play the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't see the Bills winning.
Dude,
No.
if the Bills, yeah, who do we want to win that game?
Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs.
Just to what the Bills would be
Well, no,
6
just
and
'cause
7. How
they're-
fun
And
is
just
that?
because the Chiefs are leading their division and they're not in the hunt.
And we have the tiebreaker over the Bills if we actually do want to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do we want to make the playoffs?
I mean, yeah. But we're already.
if we can get a consistent Browning for the rest of the year, yes, I want to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes down to like this week, yeah, if we come out and he plays good and we win, for sure, 7-6, because then we're already kind of going to be out of a top draft pick anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So might as well try to do it.
Obviously, my number one thing this offseason in the draft, Brock Bowers, just because of the weapon he is. But now it's like, I think it's starting to look like we're not going
We're
to
gonna have
get
that
him.
high of a pick. Yeah.
Yeah, sadly.
So I'm going to have to start really deep diving into other first-round prospects.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same.
Which, I mean, we could land, like, if T leaves, Keon Coleman, I think, would be a nice fit.
Absolute dog.
I'm about to look up the rest of the Bills' schedule if they lose this. I know we like looked at it multiple
I just
times.
don't have a lot of confidence in
It's
the
like,
Bills
but if they
moving
lose this
forward
one, they're
for-
6 and
for any
7.
team.
So I'm just like trying to see who else.
Yeah, if
actually
they
play.
lose this week, they're pretty much done.
Yeah, 6 and 7, and then they play the Cowboys,
They have a tough schedule.
and then they got the Chargers, which is not an easy game. Chargers haven't, and then the Patriots and Dolphins.
2 division games.
Dolphins should beat them, obviously. I mean, I shouldn't say
Bills,
should.
Bills
but
do own the Dolphins though.
yeah, that's what I said. They should, not
I mean,
should, but
Bucks. I mean, a lot of just like big games too. I mean, Bucks, Falcons.
I just see them at best going 9-8 this season. They're gonna.
We could put ourselves in a position to get, like, Amarius Mims from Georgia, their right tackle.
yeah,
I think that's what I want. If you can't get Bowers, I think you have to get a right tackle.
yeah. First round.
I mean,
They're just gonna get best player available.
I would like to protect.
You can't get
It's a
best player
Bengals
available in the first round.
That's what Bengals do.
They're not at the luxury, I think, this year.
But we didn't get best player available last year.
That's true.
Miles Murphy wasn't best player available.
That's true.
So, I mean,
So they love doing it with their heart.
the first, like, 3 picks
Was it or
you need
was
to
it
go
not?
need.
I mean, Mike Mayer fell for a reason. A lot of those people fell until later rounds.
I wouldn't mind.
Not
Stover,
rounds,
too,
but
like later in the draft too, if we can get him.
I wouldn't mind him. I like
who'd you say?
Sanders.
Cade Stover.
Stover.
Oh, Stover. Yeah.
I like Sanders from Texas.
I was gonna ask you. I'm not really as familiar with him. Has he been balling?
Yeah, I watched a bit of that Texas Oklahoma State game.
Mm-hmm.
He played pretty good. So did Sweat, their defensive tackle. He had a receiving touchdown. Love to see it.
Oh yeah, I did see
Right.
that.
So
But I think you couldn't go wrong with Sanders or Stover. You just got to get a tight end, I feel.
you guys think the committee got it wrong? I know Jordan does.
Yeah, I don't think Alabama should be in it.
Me either.
I understand the SEC champ has to be in.
I think.
But why do you say that?
I think they did.
But
it
why do they say that?
I
Why?
think they went off of the 4 actual best teams, which people are going to say obviously Georgia getting left out, but they just lost the head-to-head to Bama.
Hey, but Georgia plays Alabama 10 times, right? Georgia's winning 8 of the 10. 100%.
I mean, if you don't,
They lost by 3, bro.
yeah, no, I'm not saying that it was a blowout or anything. I'm just saying that.
And Texas Texas beat Bama by 10.
Yeah.
And I don't think Washington has had an impressive win
I mean,
in the last 4 or 5 weeks
they beat Oregon twice.
by a field goal.
I mean, yeah, but to beat a top 10 team twice is huge. You don't think so?
I don't know. I mean, Bama struggled against Auburn,
think-
Auburn's worst team in 10 years.
Florida State should have got in. I mean, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have. I see where the college football committee.
No,
is
I
coming
see
from.
why Florida State
they
didn't
did
get
get
in.
in.
They said before anything,
They had it on the
injuries
thing.
play a
injury,
factor,
Yeah.
and the committee said when you're watching Florida State struggle to get a first down against Louisville, you're not going to get put in.
Yeah, I watched
And
that.
then people bring up the Ohio State in 2016, like, well, Cardale Jones is third string, but Cardale Jones won 56-0 against Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship. So that's a completely different situation than Florida State struggling to get a first down against Louisville.
Yeah, I watched that championship ACC. If they made it, there's no way it would have been a competitive game.
Which the reason why Florida State didn't make it was strictly because of TCU
I was
last
about
year.
to say the same thing, dude.
It's
Yeah,
strictly that.
100%.
Now TCU did win their first game to move to the championship,
yeah.
but that championship wasn't even watchable.
No, it was horrible. I mean, it was literally probably one of the worst college football games I've ever watched.
We're gonna get a lot more of that kind of next year in the years
Yeah,
because
that-
with 12
but, like,
team
that
playoff.
next year, you're just
Yeah.
basically just expanding. I mean, the better teams are going to eliminate the worst teams, anyways.
But I agree with Gary. It should be just 8 though. Like 8's probably like the perfect
I think
number.
6 and 8 is the perfect number. You get
Yeah.
the 12, then you're
12's a
looking
lot.
at,
Like the 12 seed's probably gonna get crushed.
Like
Like-
Who was-
Penn State?
But yeah, pull up the graphic. The graphic was someone made the graphic. Like if there was, and they had like Florida State at the 4 seed. Like if there was 12
yeah,
teams.
No, if there was 12 teams, they wouldn't have even debated putting FSU at the 4. Just because
so like this year, the playoffs would have been Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Penn State, Missouri, Oregon,
Missouri,
Ohio
bro.
State,
I would hate watching Missouri.
Georgia.
Missouri in the playoffs.
it just got to be tough being on a committee, but especially Georgia losing definitely kind of gets them out of it. But then you look at Florida State and it's like, oh my gosh, they didn't. Their Power 5 conference undefeated.
Florida State also, what hurts them was their strength of schedule was 55th,
Yeah.
which was the lowest out of all teams, even in contention for the top 4.
Yeah. Just glad that it's going away from just 4 though. It should never have been 4.
But again, like another problem is like Ohio State. If they make it, I don't see Ohio State beating any of these teams this year. Like they lost one possession to Michigan, but I don't think Michigan played their best game.
I mean, I think Ohio State could have hung with Washington. I think they could have beat Washington.
I don't know. I think they would have hung in.
I mean, they definitely could have beaten them. I mean, I don't think they would have beaten Texas.
It's still
or Bama.
football. At
I
the
think
end of the day.
Kyle McCord would have lost in that game, even though I think Washington has a piss poor defense. But
It would have came down to who gets a stop. And I think you're right. I think I trust McCord did not make a play than Penix.
McCord revenge
yeah,
season.
I
bro.
trust Michael Penix way more than I trust Kyle McCord. Obviously,
It's gonna be McCord revenge season. He's gonna lead Nebraska if he goes there to the playoffs.
But yeah, I just was. I mean, I know obviously I know you that didn't. I kind of disagree with it,
but if they wanted the most competitive college football playoffs this year, Texas should have been 4, Georgia should have been 3. Texas beat Bama before,
I think Georgia.
this is
a
Georgia-
better team. It's just when they lose that week before head to head, it just.
but it's Georgia's first loss in 2 years.
But you go off this year. I mean, that's not the same team as last year.
I mean, one of the committee guys was talking about Alabama and how they struggled against Auburn. He talked about how bad Auburn's team was this year compared to previous years.
If that Georgia loss would have came in like 4 or 5 weeks ago, they would have got in. But they just lost to them. I think that's the only reason.
That doesn't make any sense though.
What do you mean?
I mean, it does. It's
It's
just
the same
like
reason Texas, the loss to Texas for Bama wasn't as big of a deal because it happened so long ago.
And the only reason why Texas is in is because their loss to Oklahoma came quite a bit ago.
Yeah, I mean, their recency is huge for them, and the head-to-head is huge. And once Texas got in, I knew that they weren't going to put Georgia over Bama because
Well, once I saw Texas at what did Texas get 3?
Yeah.
As soon as I saw them get 3, I knew for a fact Alabama was going to 4. I knew that for a fact. Just because if you're going to put Texas in at 3, if Texas was 4,
Georgia probably would have been 3.
I was seeing Georgia at 3. But since Texas was 3, I was like, okay,
yeah.
what's the only team? What was Texas's biggest win this year and Alabama's biggest loss?
And if Bama goes out to win this thing, it's really gonna kind of, I think people are gonna be like, dang, just because I mean Georgia probably would have won it all if they were. in the
But
slot.
you look at the best quarterbacks in the top 4 right now. Like he goes like Penix, Quinn, J.J. McCarthy in the Milrow. I think Milrow's the worst out of all 4.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Which-
He just
Again-
has that scramble ability.
I think the best defenses is Michigan and Texas. Alabama's a close second for me, but Texas seems like to have it together this late in the year. Like they beat up a really good Oklahoma State team. Like that Oklahoma
They
State team
spanked
is
them.
pretty good.
They
Like
got the good draw too. They match up really well against Washington.
I'm taking
Yeah.
their spread against Washington.
in like the Michigan and Alabama game, I feel like is matched up pretty well too.
They both have great lines on both sides of the ball. Both run the ball really well.
And who's favorite right now? You guys know?
Alabama.
Yeah,
Or no. Michigan's favored. It's like a pick 'em though, isn't it?
yeah, I think I'll check.
I just saw
It
that
was like a pick because we
93% of
looked at
money
it.
right now is on Bama. Is what I meant
Because we had
I
looked
mean, the
at
game
it.
to watch though is going to be Washington and Texas. That's going to be
You think so?
yeah.
Nah.
I think Michigan, Bama. I think that's gonna be. That game's gonna be awesome.
I don't really like Washington that much.
I like watching Michael Penix.
I like Michael Penix and I like Odunze,
Odunze,
but
yep.
their defense is horrible.
Yeah, it's not
Their
good.
defense is horrible.
It's gonna be who can score 45 first.
But even when
Texas is easily going to.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
you see
pick
what
'em.
Quinn's doing the last few weeks, man.
Oh,
It's
he's dogging.
their run. It seems like their 8th string running back could get 100 yards in a game.
Michigan's favored by 1.5.
Yeah, it's just pretty
Pick
much
'em.
just pick them.
Yeah.
I watched Washington versus Washington State this year, and
That was a horrible
they
game.
struggled.
Horrible
It
game.
was
I watched Arizona
Wasn't
State.
it downpouring in that game?
not that game. It was maybe it was that game.
And like the only reason why like Washington didn't lose to Arizona State was because of a pick six.
Yeah.
Michael Penix struggled that game.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say though that Texas did lose to Oklahoma. Was early, but I mean Oklahoma's defense is not good either.
Oklahoma was like a sneaky weird team. Like Oklahoma had like
Plus,
really good weeks,
I
and
would
then
ban it
Oklahoma
there
had
on
really
the-
bad weeks.
The Red River rivalry,
That
is
killed
a big
them.
rivalry.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a lot closer than I don't think it's going to be.
Well,
a
it's just like
blowout.
that's like UC and like Miami of Ohio. UC lost to Miami of Ohio this year, and that's just
Rivalry's huge.
one game you cannot lose as head coach for UC. Like when's the last time we lost to Miami? Like years.
Oh, forever ago.
Like Tuberville era maybe. Like I'm pretty sure Tuberville beat Miami every time he's played them. Which I mean, UC just got Indiana's quarterback, which people are pretty impressed with, which is fine. But again, I just don't believe in the system that we have here.
Yeah, I just think Bama as dogs going into this thing is kind of scary.
I think Bama. I think in like Michigan's like reaction to playing Bama didn't seem too confident.
Well,
Oh, they were upset.
You're playing Saban in the playoffs, like.
Yeah, and Saban like
They were probably just hoping for the easy FSU team.
Well, yeah, I mean, whenever you got to play Bama in the first round, like that sucks.
I say
Well, even
easy,
if
but
you're
FSU's defense is good.
then
though.
if you're Michigan,
Absolutely.
do you really want to play Texas either?
No, I mean they definitely have the harder.
I think
route.
Michigan was banking on Florida State, but then again, Florida State's defense is probably the best defense out of the top 10.
I think if you would have put Georgia in, they would have won it all. And I think me right now, out of the 4 teams, I would put money on Bama winning it all right now. Just because
I'm going to slide with Colton and say Texas, just because I want
I love
Texas to win.
Texas.
I don't.
And
Want,
I'm a bit-
I don't want Bama to win.
And I think Quinn Ewers going back next year. I think he's going to set him up to be the first pick in the draft.
I want Washington to win, on the record, by the way. But I think Bama will win.
I can't
just
root
like
for
Michael.
Washington.
I like Michael, bro. I think he's just fun.
Here's
to
my
watch.
thing. I have a hatred towards Bama.
Same.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Like,
I don't
I-
want them to win ever.
Me and Eric went to that Cotton Bowl.
I hate Alabama so much.
We went to that Cotton Bowl against UC down in Dallas. Alabama fans are probably the worst people I've ever been around in my life.
Well, I mean, when you've won so
So much. It's like when the Pats
Like-
fans probably when the Brady era, they're like,
Literally,
yes, sir.
if
You
go-
know you
if
ain't beating
go
us.
with Saban for what is it? I don't even think it's 4 full years. But if you stay all 4 years since he's been there,
You average,
You
I
will win
think.
a title.
Like I do like Nick Saban. I do.
So-
Like I think he's a great coach. Obviously, Jordan Battle's a great player for us from
I
Alabama.
mean, they just produce. I mean, they're a farm. They produce.
Yeah.
They produce NFL players.
Jordan, go back to your question. It was 2005.
Who was our head coach
Um,
for UC?
what's funny is Big Ben was drafted in 04, so it wasn't against Big Ben. I'm like, maybe it was Big Ben. Maybe they faced Big Ben in that.
05. Is that Tony Pike? Tony Pike was our quarterback that year or something? It's been a while.
Probably close to them.
It's been a while.
I think Tony Pike was like 08 or
Yeah.
oh,
07.
I think Tony Pike was like 2010 maybe. I don't think Tony Pike's that old.
He does a podcast now. You ever?
Yeah, it's I think it's Pike the Benz, which Armand Benz played for the Bengals. Which he wore 85 before Eifert did.
Mm-hmm. Really good.
He had one touchdown, I think.
He had like one really good game.
I think he
I'm
had
like,
13
I love this guy.
receptions.
I love this guy.
And then he went to the Dolphins after that. And
It's giving me basketball.
It's giving me basketball.
Some of the bowl matchups were kind of weird to me, though.
this year,
Yeah. Oregon Liberty,
yeah, what was Liberty? They're,
23.
Yeah, that's.
But they were undefeated. I think that's kind of why They got a New Year's Six bowl.
Well, I mean, Bo Nix already said he's not playing.
I don't know. I mean, why would I would play, but I mean,
I wouldn't.
Wasn't it him?
I
I sent
would-
something in the chat.
Like
but-
Caleb Williams isn't playing in the Holiday Bowl because he's entering the draft.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
I get-
so. I could see why Bo Nix, if he doesn't, I can see why.
I understand the not as big bowl games, which every bowl game, I've obviously never got to play in one, so it is obviously the respect to going, and it's a great testimony to your season. But I think the New Year's Six bowls are a little different to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think those are a bigger deal. But I get it. Injuries, you don't want to get hurt before the draft. So
Kevin Huber was on that team.
I think it
Oh,
was
go ahead.
him that said that.
Mark D'Antonio. Bearcats won 4 games that year.
Scott Satterfield's in great company. It's like Ryan Day. Like Ohio State fans are like coming for like Ryan Day's neck for losing to Michigan, which.
it's the only game you got to win.
But Kirk Herbstreit put up a good point. Ryan Day has won 80% of his games he's coached, or a little over 80% or something like
They
that.
only care about one though.
And Ohio State fans only care about one game, which I, as a UC fan, I care about one game. Realistically, this year, I knew it was going to be a down year, but there's one game I cared about. It was 100% that Miami game.
Well, now I just care about beating West Virginia.
Yeah.
Now I care about that a bit more now than Miami of Ohio. I thought Miami of Ohio was like on their map.
And he replaced, Urban Meyer, who was,
On a
a
tear.
sensational coach. I mean,
Which Urban Meyer never lost to Michigan either.
he won a national championship there too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, he's under a microscope. I think his personality doesn't play well when you lose to Michigan 3 times in a row either.
Yeah.
Like he's very what do you say? He's like, I hope they have a mercy rule because we're gonna hang 100 on him or something. Like,
I mean,
That's
it's the
wild.
first time since like 96 to 98 that they've lost 3 times in a row to Michigan. That's bad. That's bad.
you think they give him one more year?
Ryan Day?
Yeah.
Yeah, if he loses to Michigan next year, it's over.
I kind of thought maybe it would be this year, but
In my
Michigan
opinion,
was the better team this year. I mean, the last 2 seasons it was a toss up probably, but this year Michigan, I mean they were
they were clearly
the
the
better
team
team
this year.
this year.
100%. Yeah.
I mean they were just the better team.
And like I said, I don't think Michigan. There's been games where Michigan struggled. It seems like to move the ball, but
Their lines are insane and Quorum's a dog.
yeah,
Like
We got our Army Navy matchup this weekend.
the America's Bowl.
Yeah, I was trying to look up the bowl, like all the bowl matchups.
Well, if you guys
Go
stuck
Army.
around for our college playoff talk here, we're going to be doing a lot more college football talk coming up.
Yep.
Just because getting to that time of the year, we got the bowl games, got the national championship, we got college football playoffs, we got some controversies going on with draft prospects and wanting ownership of teams, and even though that's like a little
Yeah.
report,
And
but
then,
it's
then we'll get the combine stuff and all that.
all the combine's going to be fun. Like I really hope, I hope all quarterbacks participate in the combine. I think they should.
Louisville, USC.
Honestly, yeah. I mean,
Unless like if you're Caleb Williams, 100% you do the combine, so you don't show your ass.
I think you should. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Like Burrow didn't do the combine for a reason. Burrow just knew he was going to be the number 1 pick, but Caleb Williams after a down year, and it seems like you have the wrong answer in almost every press conference you have.
Go out and just show them, man. Like,
Yeah,
go out and
that's
just
what I
swing the
mean.
ball
You-
80 yards in the air, like.
That's what I'm
What's
like,
up?
and like you're going to have these pre-draft interviews. You need to nail these pre-draft interviews if you're Caleb Williams.
Is McCord not playing
For what?
the bowl? Why?
Yeah.
Why is?
He already into the
He's
transfer
injured.
portal.
Oh, okay. I was like, why is Mizzou favored against Ohio State?
That's why bowl records aren't going to mean anything either.
They're favored
No,
by
not
2.
anymore. Not with the transfer portal.
Ole Miss, Penn
No,
State,
because these players don't care about the bowl games.
Georgia, Florida State. Georgia's
I
gonna
saw a
roll
thing.
them,
It's
bro.
like
Georgia's
we
gonna
wanted the
spin.
NIL to be different so people could sign jerseys and get paid.
And now
not,
it's just
not
for-
hop in like it's free agency.
That's
Which-
what it is.
I mean, that
I'm
was
all for movement, but like I understand it's hard to
that's
hard
why
to watch it.
it's like people take these bowl games as jokes now, which kind of sucks because like Luke Fickell left right before the Fenway Bowl, before we played for Louisville. That really made me upset just because like you need to ride it out with your
like
team.
why don't I wait until the end of the season's actually over? Like
Go
is
out
that
on a high note.
is
Yeah,
that
you're
like-
not going to lose your
is
job,
that
your
3 weeks really
job.
difference? Like,
So,
is that 3 weeks really a difference?
no.
And then like I saw a thing too. It's like I feel bad for like high school seniors being recruited right now because like they commit to a school and they kind of lose all the ability to leave after that once they've committed and they're there, and then
And again,
guys transfer.
Dion had a great quote about people transferring and decommitting, and he said, these kids, they can't stay committed to a girl. What do you think they're going to stay committed to a school for?
Yeah, he's 100% right. It's I get it. I mean, players should be able to move and make as much money as they want. I'm all for that, but at the same time, it's like I don't like that you should transfer.
I hate seeing these 6th-year seniors.
That too. Yeah.
That's my biggest problem. Like, I understand if one of the years was your COVID year, but
like Tower Shao guy.
Remember
That's
when it was
going to.
wasn't it 4 years? Like that's it. Like,
yeah, pretty much like it was just 4 to 5 years. You're done with college football.
You get your
Now,
red shirt. and
what was
that's
that Northern Illinois quarterback or something
7
like
years.
that? He's been in college football for 7 years. Like, you are 27 years old almost.
it. Something to hang him up.
You are not Van Wilder.
Oh man, who just retired from college football? Oh man, it was
I know there's a
Oh,
lot of
man.
like
played
doctorate
forever.
guys, like guys who go get their doctorate and still play. I just saw it on Twitter. I mean,
That's fine. That is fine.
yeah, but
He said that is fun.
But some of these are not fine where you're just staying to play
Well,
football.
that and like you're 27 hitting an 18-year-old, like I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
though, like there's a difference in like the physicality of NFL. and
Who
college.
was that punter that was like 30-something? Forget what team he played for.
Oh, he came back.
Yeah, but he came back to school and he like had eligibility somehow or something.
Yeah, it's like you're
Yeah,
here
imagine
to
you
play.
being 30 playing linebacker. Kyle McCord, takes off for a scramble, gets freaking pieced up by a 30-year-old, taking your mom on a date after the game.
It was a Georgia quarterback.
Stetson.
Yeah, no.
Stetson Bennett was old. He was older.
Yeah,
He was 25 or 26 when he.
he was 26 when he got drafted. Because I think they mentioned how he's older than Lamar, Burrow, some other quarterbacks.
It was someone else. He's still playing college football now. He retired because of he's had injuries. That's why.
Oh, that's JT Daniels,
JT Daniels.
the Rice quarterback.
Yeah. It's like that dude's played forever. It seems
I was shocked when Colton put him on a parlay once, and I saw JT Daniels.
Dude,
And I'm
I was like, this guy's in
I was
the
like,
league.
dude, there's no way this guy's about to throw for 200 and something on yards.
Bro fell from grace going from Georgia to Rice.
Right, he said right.
Plus, that Northern Illinois guy, I'm pretty sure his first school is Penn State. And then he just went to a community college.
When
And
you're coming out of high school, though, that's your.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Dylan Gabriel. He is about to transfer again to go to Oregon,
Yep.
which Sauce Gardner picked him off. Sauce Gardner picked Dylan Gabriel off for a pick six his freshman year. Sauce Gardner is now in his 3rd year in the league, or will be in his third or 4th year when Dylan Gabriel enters the draft.
Yeah.
You're a grown man. Just some hot takes on the college football problems.
JT Daniels played for West Virginia.
No, I didn't.
You got to start at USC. 18-19, stayed a year. Went to Georgia for a year. Virginia for a year. Then Rice. For a
4
year.
teams. 4 schools. Yeah. That's all
Must be
I
moving
got
for a
on
girl.
college
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was a good episode. We'll see you guys next week, hopefully after this Colts win. Hopefully Jake Browning has another game.
Yes, sir. Another offensive player of the week.
Yep. Downtown Jake. What did Mixon say? Downtown Jake Browning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Downtown Jake Brown.
Jackass.
Rhyme it, but-
All right. See you guys.
See you guys.